because, sorry, hang on, it's showing me something different now. Anyways, hi guys, welcome to another episode of Vichangry's Believe It or Not. I'm your host, Vichangry. So, I'm kind of coming here last minute. I wasn't going to record today, but I realized I didn't have homework. So I kind of retouched up my makeup, threw a shirt on, and here I am. So yeah, this is my 6th episode, and that is so exciting. I can't wait till we get to 10 episodes, then 20, then 30, and I just don't plan to stop. So I hope you guys are liking this. And I'm trying to cover here my bottoms because I just threw a cute top on and I'm wearing some pajama bottoms. So anyways, let us see. This past week was the week of 9/11 when I typed up my notes here. So I kind of just wanted to share my little 9/11 story, like where I was, how old I was, stuff like that. So, when 9/11 happened I forget the year, I'm so sorry, but I was 10 years old when it happened, and I was in the middle of being haunted by a ghost that I mentioned in one of my other episodes here. So, I was just being exposed to so many things at such a young age. 9/11 being one of them, with my haunting going on, and with 9/11 it kind of just opened my eyes to different parts of life that many people don't get exposed to at such a young age, and it kind of just shaped me into the paranoid, OCD, superstitious person I am today. So basically, I was 10 years old. I was getting ready for school when the first plane hit, and I went to school, and by that point the news was on, and that's when they were showing everybody just jumping out of the planes, stuff like that. So I just remember thinking, as I saw those people jumping out of the planes, like, wow, they are jumping out of the building, I'm like, wow, they're becoming ghosts, just like the ghost that I was being haunted by. I don't know why, somehow I just tied those two together, and that's what all I could think about was, wow, all those people are turning into ghosts. So yeah, it was a pretty interesting experience for me. And also, I just wanted to mention that I make these episodes based off of, my own personal experiences, which I have tons, but eventually if I ever run out of stories or experiences, I'm gonna keep this series going and just start talking about, theories or any superstitions or anything like that, true crime. So I don't see my experiences ending like in the next few episodes or anything, but once it eventually gets to that point, I do plan to keep this going with just other interesting stories and stuff like that. So with this episode, I wanted to share more on the day I met an alien and why I think I'm a starseed. So that's kind of what this episode is. It's gonna kind of be me repeating that experience that I talked about in my very first episode, but I've been talking about it more and more on TikTok, and more people are becoming interested in hearing my story. And I feel like I owe it to them, to you guys, to share more on that day, because it has been hard for me to remember, but the more and more I talk about it, just I start remembering little bits and pieces more of the story. So, and then also I'm just going to share on why I think I'm a starseed. So yeah, let's get into it. I think that was a little bit of a dragged out the opening there, so I'm sorry about that, guys. Oh, also, this week there's Gabby Petito had went missing, so I hope they find her safe. There's no, they don't know anything as of right now. She was traveling cross country with her boyfriend and he returned home. She never did. He lawyered up and he's not speaking, so he is a person of interest. We are just waiting to see if he says anything or anything like that. So like I mentioned earlier, I have been sharing my story more and more on TikTok, and people are just asking me like, what happened? You need to write a book, you need to, tell us more and all this stuff. So for a long time I've kept this story to myself, and I've only shared it with people who I know, but I'm realizing, it's time for me to act. That's why I started this whole series, is because it's time to start sharing these stories for you guys. So, I know most people don't believe stuff like this. When I say I met an alien, people are like, okay, buddy, here's a cookie, or like, you know what I mean? They're like, okay, next. Basically, they think I'm crazy, which I don't blame them. If I've never gone through any of these things myself and somebody was trying to tell me that they have, I would be like, yeah, right. So this is mainly for the people who need to hear it, who are going to believe me when they hear it. So, and for everybody else, I guess you guys can just take it as a fun story. I don't know. It's my life, so take it as you want. I have my notes here. I am kind of just going off of them because I don't want to miss anything. I realize that me reading off my computer could kind of make it seem like if I'm lying or something, but I just want to make sure that I stay focused, stay on topic, and I don't miss anything. I'm trying to get to a point where I don't have to look at my computer a lot, but bear with me until I become an expert at this. So I'm just going to start from the very beginning of how my starseed nature came to be. Ever since I was little, I just kind of automatically knew about the existence of aliens. I don't know where the knowledge came from. I have always knew about it. I would always like look up in the sky and I would just know that there's other things out there. Even just at such a young age, I just knew it. And on top of that, I've always felt like just like I'm not from here. Like I'm not from this planet. I've always felt like I need to go back to where I came from. I want to go back to where I came from. I just don't know where that is. And I felt like I've always felt like my family, just no human being I've ever met has ever connected with me spiritually on this level. Clearly, I don't think I've ever met another true starseed that's had an awakening moment like I have. So yeah, I've never felt connected with my family here on Earth. And I've always felt like, we all feel like we're here for a reason, right? Well, I've always felt like my reason, my purpose was far beyond this planet. It was far beyond comprehension. Most people feel like they need to become a nurse, a firefighter, they need to help feed the children, they need to help save the animals. My feeling was always much greater than that. I just didn't know exactly what it was. I just knew at some point I would know what it's supposed to be. On top of all that, I've always felt just disgusted and confined to this human body. I remember always looking in the mirror. I would like look at my hands and just like trip out that like I'm in this body, and I would always feel like just breaking out of it and breaking free from all the restraints of being human. Like I feel like I want to fly right now, like why can't I? Or I feel like I want to do all these things right now, but why can't I? And I'm just like, because I'm in this body, you know. And it's honestly a weird feeling. I still get that feeling, you know, here and there. Whoop. So I dream of space quite a bit. I don't know if that's normal. I used to have dreams of me flying through space. I've astral projected to space. I just always have been so connected with space and dream of it and think of it and look to it. And I just feel like that's where my home is, you know, that's where I'm supposed to be, not here. But I'm realizing, you know, I'm here for a reason. It isn't for no reason. So now I'm gonna come up onto, this was all, you know, prior, I guess, and after, because I still feel these things, but before I even met an alien. So I'm gonna come up to the day I met an alien. And I'm going to just kind of repeat it here because, like I said, it was in my first episode. So I was about 13 years old at the time. And it was, you know, right in the middle of my haunting. Spiritually, I was very open. I was an open book. I wasn't shutting out anything. So I think that this encounter happened at this time in my life because where I was at spiritually. I was old enough to understand and young enough to have an open mind still. As I've grown older, I've never lost any of those connections, but it's harder as, you know, an adult. You're not as much of an open book as when you were younger. So I realized that's why this happened at this time in my life. I was already being haunted. I wasn't afraid really of, or I guess I was afraid, but I wasn't unwelcoming to anything supernatural. I was an open book to this. So on this day, my cousin and I decided to get away from the family, and she lived down the street from a school, which was out for the summer. And so we were like, let's go down to the school because we know nobody was going to be there, and we would just like to have it to ourselves, just hang out, play on the little jungle gym. Like, not really play, but you know, when you're that age, you're just kind of walk around, do little things. So we went there, and there was no school in session, and it was about sunset. So it wasn't like a normal time for anybody to be out at an abandoned school. It was literally all the circumstances were for there to be nobody there, except for like we were able to get in because like we must have even like hopped a fence or something. I don't even know. But we got in there. We were the only ones there. And all of a sudden, a woman appeared with her 2 children. Like, me and my cousin were just talking, then we looked back and there was a whole family there. And we were like, what the heck? You know, like, how did they get here? When did they get here? You know, we kind of just tried to ignore it, but the lady walked over to us, and the whole time her kids were playing, just so happy. Again, I don't want to repeat myself too much here, So yeah, the kids were there, but the lady comes up to us, and as she's talking to us, it's almost as if like everything kind of stood still or just slowed way down. And she's like grabbing my hand, and she's like talking to us, and she's talking to us the whole time she's talking to us. Everything got kind of quiet, and it sounded almost like there was like a low whistling kind of all around us, like type of thing. And she's like, she's grabbing onto us, and she's talking to us. The whole time, mind you, she's glowing. She's just emitting so much positive energy to the point that she's glowing. You know what I mean? Like I mentioned before, it wasn't an orb or anything. It was just so much radiance that she was just bright. And she's like, she's grabbing onto us, and she's like talking to us like, you girls are so special. Like, she's like, you are so special. You have no idea. She's talking to us. She's like, you have something very important to do. She's like, this planet has minerals and like the oceans and stuff like that is just really important that we knew of these elements here on Earth. And she would kept pointing at some point like to the sky, and she was just like look, like I think she was trying to tell us like that's where she's from or something. And she's just talking to us, you know, about, and she, at some point she's mentioning the heavens. She's like pointing to us, and she's like, the heavens are, I'm so sorry, and I know this was supposed to be more details, but the specifics of what she said are so jumbled up in my mind here. But little by little they're coming to me, because I feel like they were only supposed to be known to me at certain times in my life. And I just remember so vividly the whistling around us, everything standing still, her radiance of glowing, her grabbing onto us and telling us like, you girls need to listen, please. Like, this earth is very special. There's these elements, there's these rocks, there's these waters. You need to do this, like, for us in the heavens, like, please. And she's like, do you understand what I'm saying to you? She's like, please tell me you understand what I'm saying to you. And I was like, yes. Like, as soon as we nodded our heads that we understood her, she was like, okay. And she gestured for her kids to go, and they started walking towards like this closed off fence. And they just started to walk. Next thing you know, they disappeared, literally gone. And me and my cousin are like, what the heck, you know? So I think at that point, she must have entered back on to her ship or something, and it just must have been invisible. And I'm thinking maybe that was the whistling all around us. Like, she just came down real quick and took off. All right. And for the longest time, I didn't know what to make of this encounter. Like I said, I think she was just planting seeds that were going to sprout later in my life. And so after that, I just kind of let it go. I started to think about it more and more as I got older, and I confused her as an angel at first, because she came from the sky basically and was talking to us about the earth and the heavens. So I thought it was an angel. But honestly, now that I realize the difference in, you know, just the different beings that are out there and what her purpose was and what she was telling me and what she was planting in my head, I know that it wasn't an angel. It was an extraterrestrial being. She looked like a human. I think she just maybe presented herself in that way. But the vibes that I got off of her just let me know that she was definitely from another planet. And I actually think like this lady acted as if she knew me, or she knew she was coming to talk to me. And I just can't help but to think that she could be part of my star family if I am, from wherever she's from. She could have just been coming down and was like, okay, it's time to go activate Victoria. Let's go do it. I'm going back home, because I wasn't afraid of her, and it was such like a bonding moment. I've never felt more connected spiritually with anybody besides her that day. She knew, you know what I'm saying? She knew the things that I know that many people don't, and I just feel like we knew each other, you know what I'm saying? I still don't know like what my true mission is. I'm starting to come more and more clear that I believe I'm supposed to just share my story, help people basically save the planet, because there are elements on this planet that there aren't anywhere else, at least in any nearby galaxies or whatever, that we need to help secure this planet. And with everything happening with global warming and me talking about this more and more, I feel like it's aligning with my mission, that I am here to help save the planet and let you guys know that you need to help too. Everything that we do, everything, it all affects the long-term state of the planet. So yeah, I feel like part of the mission is sharing my story to as many people as possible. Whether you believe me or not, you're hearing it, and it's planting something in your head like, what? Why would this girl even be saying that she met an alien? Why would anybody lie about this? I get it that maybe you guys might think I'm trying to get famous or get known for it, but I've been on the internet for like 5 or more years now, and I'm barely starting to talk about this. If I was trying to get famous off of it, I would have started my YouTube, my social media career based off that. I would be calling myself Alien Girl or something, not Vichangry. Like, clearly this wasn't my direction that I was going, but it's the direction I'm being pulled, so I'm just following suit. I get messages every now and again, and I believe they're coming from, that lady, other members of that family, different beings. But every now and again I get these little messages. It started once I was like laying down and I just heard like, "We have messages for you, are you ready?" And I said yes, but somehow the connection was lost, and I was just waiting and waiting for more messages. I was like, what the heck? Like, I said yes, and just that day the connection was lost. So I was like, okay. And then another time they just come to my head, and I've realized they're very picky at the point in time that they're sending me these messages. It's not like right now when I'm doing things, it's when I'm in a very relaxed state of mind and I can actually listen. And at one point they told me that we are human stars because the amount of energy that we possess, the way that things see us that can see our energy, see us as bright as stars. So that term came to my head, human stars. That was a pretty cool, and it's like, I don't just come up with this stuff on my own, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just put into my head. And the last message that I got was, it was a little back and forth, like, are you ready? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Like, how can I prove it? And so basically the first step for me to prove anything was to go green. They said, you need to go green. That was it, after the little back and forth. And if you know me, I drink bottled water. I don't recycle. I drink tons of soda. I use plastic straws. I'm nowhere near going green. And that's the first step. They told me, like, okay, you're ready, you're worthy. You need to make sure you're worthy is the key word here. And they said, prove it by going green. And I've tried. I have little bags hanging up in my kitchen to recycle. I'm trying to live out here what is being expected of me. Although it's very hard, going green is really actually quite hard. And the reason why, we need to go green and stuff like that is because, like I mentioned before, there are minerals and elements here on Earth that are crucial for some reason for those beings, for the universe. I have no idea, but basically, as soon as we strip the planet of all its natural things, we burn it, whatever, that's it. They're gone from this universe, from this galaxy. And that's why they're so adamant about saving Earth. It's not for us, it's for the planet. And we just really got to try to conserve it as much as possible. So with the encounter with the lady, it kind of wrapped up everything for me. It kind of let me know why I've always felt, so different. Because I probably am. It helped me realize why I've never felt so connected with my family or anybody else at that point. Because I'm not meant to. That's not my mission here. I'm not meant to connect like that. I'm meant to help spread awareness. And my true family, others, like me, are off doing their own missions. And here I am on Earth trying to connect with family and people. And it's like, that's just not for me. It helps explain why I've always felt so disgusted in this human body, because it's quite possible I'm, just borrowing it here to complete this mission. And it also kind of explains why I've always felt like immortal in a way. Like, I've always felt like I'm not gonna die. As weird as it is, I felt like that isn't for me. That's not what's gonna happen to me. Like, it's different for me. I don't know. And I don't like to call myself a starseed because of all the stigma behind it and because of all the people who try to sound cool saying they're starseeds. But I realized I most likely am a starseed 100%. If you can get past all the nonsense you think about it and really research it, and look at what people say when they think they're starseeds, and it's 100% everything that I've mentioned that I feel in this video. You know, they've had specific moments of awakening. Mine was meeting the alien. They felt a longing to go home, but they just don't know where that is. You know, if you really understood what a true starseed was, then you realize, you know, I most likely am. I just don't like to really be like, hey guys, I'm a starseed. Because, like I said, people just kind of like to throw that word around to sound cool in the alien community. But for us real ones, it's a real deal, because these are real feelings that we've had our whole lives. These are real encounters, real experiences that we've experienced that activated that part, you know, of our DNA to wake up. And I don't feel like everybody who says they're a starseed actually has, you know, their awakening moment or anything like that. So at this point, I was going to share some famous people who are thought to be starseeds, such as Willow Smith. And there's many others, but I decided I'm not going to, only because I don't know if they've been awakened. I don't know if they have had their moment of awakening. I feel like you could feel like you're a starseed. You can think you're a starseed because you want to be a starseed. But did you have a moment of awakening? You know, and most real starseeds have. And I don't know any of these people personally to know if they have or haven't. So I just don't want to go around assuming and calling anybody a starseed just because they seem like spiritual or something. And they very much could be. I just don't know personally. And like I've said earlier, I hope this reaches the people that it needs to reach. Like I've said, I've been talking a lot about this on TikTok, and I realized people on TikTok, you guys, they're very open-minded, and they believe me, and they want to hear my story. So I wanted to just come on here and try to explain it a little bit more into detail, which I know I didn't give much more details about what the lady said to me. And I've considered going under hypnosis to bring out these memories, but I'm very strong-minded and I'm not easily influenced. And with hypnosis, you have to get yourself to a stage where you're able to be influenced by what the person says. And I just don't see that being in the cards for me, but I've considered it. I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to take lie detector tests. I'm willing to do anything and everything to prove this. I guess not really prove it, but just to solidify it, you know, not only for people, but for myself. Like, I really want to know exactly what was said to me and what's expected of me. And I just keep being told, like, in time you will know. So we'll see if that ever actually happens. And I would very much, you know, like to hear your guys' stories. If you think you may be a starseed, this very much could be your awakening moment. I'm not saying that I have the power to solidify you or whatever as a starseed, but I feel like I have the story for you to hear, to know that what you're feeling or thinking is correct. You're not crazy. You know, I believe in it. I believe in you, your story, what you're going through, what your mom's gone through, what your friends, uncles, aunts, grandpa, doesn't matter who it is. All of your experiences are real, and I, out of all people, believe you. So please share any stories with me that you guys have in the comments. And I believe I'm just going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. I'm sorry, I feel like it was a little different than my other episodes. Kind of just a low-key sit down talking. Yeah, I felt like I owed it to the people who have been asking me so much about this story to just jump on and try to give a little bit more of an explanation and why I think I actually am a starseed. I'm not just somebody going around the internet claiming these things. I actually mean what I say. So yeah, and don't forget to like this video, and also subscribe to my channel, because this is a whole series. I have a lot of experiences and stories that I'm just having so much fun sharing with you guys. And turn on the little notification, because I do post these live, and if you just want to be here live while I'm doing it, it will notify you, and you could chat here in the chat with me and ask questions, stuff like that. And I believe that's all I wanted to say in this. So yeah, thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. And don't forget that in the end, it's up to you to believe it or not. All right, bye guys. See you next time.